Hello, welcome to Scratch Online classes. How are you all? I hope you guys are doing fine. Today we'll be working on an interesting project, and this project will be involving a bat. So, what will be our project? Our project will be to create a flying bat. In other words, we have to code using these blocks to enable a bat character to fly. Now, to make things interesting, we will add certain features such as background, bat wings movement, and certain responsive pattern to the mouse. I hope you will enjoy this project. So let's begin. So, have you guys ever seen a bat? When I'm talking about a bat, I am not talking about a cricket bat, but I'm talking about the flying bat, the small bird that looks like a bird. Right? I am sure at least you would have seen a bat in television. Now, since we're going to work on a bat, flying bat, we have a cat here which is of no use to us. So what we do is we remove this cat and we choose bat from these sprite characters. So let us go, and there are many characters here. We have a bat here. See, the bat is flying. We will use this bat. So click on this bat, and now we have a bat. Now this bat is, the background is white, so we need to change the background relevant to our work. So let's choose a background that matches our story, or that makes our project interesting and realistic. So to select the background, we go to the stage area, backdrops. We select this portion, choose a backdrop, and then there are many backdrops or backgrounds available. So we have to choose according to our convenience and story related to our project. A jungle. Well, jungle would be a good choice, right? Since bats are usually found in jungles, forests, dark areas. So I guess jungles, it's not a bad choice. So let's select jungle. You can choose anything you want. So we have chosen a bat, but this bat is too big relative to the background. So to make it realistic, let us reduce the size of the bat to 50 from its current 100. There, we have a smaller bat. Now this looks better. Now what do we have to do in the project is, we have a bat, we should be able to move this bat by itself. The bat should move by itself, fly from here to here to here to here. And to make things more interesting, we will design our code in such a way that this bat will follow this cursor. Wherever the cursor goes, the bat will follow the cursor and try to catch the cursor. When it catches the cursor or reaches the cursor point, it sleeps. And here, so let's start. So to begin, let's change our title here, flying bat. Let's write bat. Now we start with the events. Here we go in this column and we choose this. When space key is pressed, So when you are pressing a space key, it is an occurrence of an event, right? So we click this. So when we click on space key, what happened? To determine what happens, we have to give some motion. So we go to motion and we take move 10 steps. So we put here, now let's click here and you see the bat is moving 10 steps further. Now let's make this bat point towards the cursor. If my cursor is here, then the bat should point towards the cursor and move towards the cursor, right? That is the first step in making the birds fly towards the cursor. So to do so, we will have to use the point towards section, and point towards is in motion area. If you go down here, we will find it. Point towards this block we put here. Now click this. I'll put my mouse here and the bat here. Now if I push space, you see it's pointing towards the cursor. Now let me keep on pressing the bat space, the bat reaches the cursor. So what we do now, but one thing we have observed here is that bat is moving towards the cursor, but its wings are not flapping. It does not look real. It is simply moving straight without, as if it is just a simple picture or object. It is not moving. It seems it does not have life into it. So let's try to make it more realistic so that it flaps its wings. To do so, we have to go to customs. Look at my cursor, where my cursor movement. We have to go here, customs, and you see we have 4 costumes here. 4 costumes. The costumes show different movements of the character. This is the first one that we have. This is the second. Now if we click 1 and 2, you see it creates a movement pattern. Certain pattern is there. It looks like as if the bat is flying, right? So these 2 costumes we'll be using, and let's see this. This is not matching with our movement pattern, so we will not use this. We will delete this one. And this sleeping costume, we will keep it. Why we will keep it? We will use this costume when the bat flies and reaches the cursor location, its final position, it rests. So when it's rest, it sleeps, and for that sleeping point we'll use this costume, right? So let's start. Let's go back. Here we click code and we should come back here. Now what do is we use, let's make this bird fly by flapping its wings to give its life. To do that, we have to go to control and we need to take this weight and we will put some seconds, 0.05 seconds, the minimum second, and we will do change costume so that it looks like as if it is flying. So to do that, the costumes section is in looks. So we go to looks and we go to next costume. Now let's press it. Let me put my cursor here and let me press space. Yes, this looks realistic, right? Now let me move my cursor, and while pressing space, yes, it works perfectly fine. But there is one drawback of this. We have to constantly push space or keep the space key pressed while moving the cursor. What we will try to do now is without pressing space button continuously, we will make the bat follow the cursor wherever the cursor go. It means we have to design the code in such a way that once a space is pressed and wherever we move our cursor, the bat follows without us having to repeatedly press the space key, right? So let's see how can we achieve that. To achieve it, what we have to do is we have to go to the control area, control panel, this panel area, and we take this forever. Forever means always, without non-stop. We put, so these steps are going, when space is once clicked, these things will forever move, right? Now let's check how it works. We click space once and it is following the cursor, right? It is following the cursor. See, it's working perfectly fine. But we should put one condition, that if the distance between the mouse pointer and the bat is greater than 20, then this function should occur. If not, then it should not happen. Then let's take this if and put here, and in this section we go to sensing and we take operator section. We go to operator section and we take this greater to and we put here, and here we go to sensing and we take distance to mouse pointer greater than 20. When the distance to mouse pointer is 20, then these steps would occur. Let's see how it works. See? Now let's start with switching the costume to make things more interesting. Now see this, when the bat catches the cursor, it stops, but as we have said, when it reaches the cursor, it should always sleep, it should always rest. It should not open its wings. It should be like this. It should be always be sleeping and not like this. So how do we do it? For that we go to looks and we take switch costume and we put here switch costume and we do it A. It starts with A, with this and this and this. This is the resting one. So let's go back to code, and now what do? We take switch costume here again to B, right? So it is changing the costume. Instead of next costume automatically, we are now giving it manually every time. me remove this block. Now again I will use switch costume here at the end, because I am using outside this loop. I am using this block outside this loop. If I use, so that whenever it finishes the entire thing, when it reaches the cursor to the cursor, then this if loop finishes. After if loop, I have to use after if loop. Then if I put after if loop here, then this costume will be assigned, will be used by the bat as soon as it reaches the cursor. Let's me put here now is D. Now let's see, does this thing work or not. Let me put my cursor here and let me press space. Now I am pressing the space only once, and wherever I am putting, you see, every time whenever the bat reaches the cursor, whenever it catches the cursor, it is satisfied and it sleeps. It finishes its task, is now sleeping. You see, this bat is now sleeping on the tree. Right? So this is a very simple project to showcase various simple functions. We can create multiple such videos in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video and understood a lot of basic fundamental aspects. Thank you and see you in next class. Bye bye.